Good evening, everyone. I hope this finds you well. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Raquel Garcia, and I own and am the creator of Hard Beauty, a life coaching practice where we break cycles. I work with adolescents ages 14 to 24, and then I also work with parents. Tonight, we hosted our very first Hard Beauty Hope Group online. Hope Group is a fellowship of young people, and is not a religious thing, who decided to end the epidemic of suicide in the state of Colorado. We partnered with Robbie's Hope, and we created Hope Groups where we gathered young people a couple times a month, where they just got to come and talk about the things that were important to them. My background is I'm an alcoholic. I'm in recovery. I've been sober 10 years. And what I needed to get my life straight was some other people who knew exactly what I was going through. And so 12-step meetings have been my life. And I had thought about it, and Robbie's Hope had already done it, and it was a perfect match because they lost their son to suicide. So we decided to take it online with COVID-19 and what's going on. I live in a house of teenagers. I actually have 4 teenagers that live in my home. So I actually hear more about what's going on in their world than I hear about the adult world, to be honest. And we don't have regular television in our house. So I'm kind of very late to the ball game as far as what's going on in the adult world. We decided with COVID-19 to gather young people online and allow them an opportunity to talk about how COVID-19 is affecting them. And I left that meeting feeling extremely inspired. I really, really did. We had young people from all over. We had young people from outside of the state of Colorado joining us. We know that we could host about 100 people online. I will say thank you to those of you who stayed with us during the technical difficulties. It was supposed to be, split screens with everybody you could see, and we could only see one person at a time. But it's kind of like how we're all new to COVID-19. I had never used this platform, so it was new to me. And so we'll work those bugs out. But I just want to say thank you. Thank you for sticking with me during that. And the blessing is that I really felt like everybody felt like they got something out of it. And that was the most important. I know Sabrina left saying, that was a really good meeting. So, I wanted to draw your attention, adult world, to what young people are saying they are struggling with. We had boys, girls, mixes of ages. I'm going to say probably ages 14 up to about 20, I think was our oldest, 19, 20 year old was in there. And some of their struggles are the same between them. Some of them are very different. For our older teenagers, the ones that are outside of school, it's work, right? One of our young people is is considered a essential worker, right? And she's young, right? And so she's thinking of that in her life. Some of them were talking about they feel like their life's been put on hold, right? There was no real closure for them. Some of them are struggling with the fact that, some of them put a lot of effort into their school year. They worked really, really hard to graduate, to put together the prom, to get good grades, to all these accomplishments they've worked hard for. And the fact that they're not going to get to the ending point, for them, it's kind of not just about the celebration. It's like, I told them I don't understand. I can't imagine for me, it's not my experience. I'm somebody who barely made it through high school, and I was so darn excited to get across that freaking stage, even though I went crawling and barely made it. I was just excited. So I don't know. The other one they talked about is this uncertainty, right? They don't know what's going to happen. They don't know whether they're going to get to go back to school. There was some acceptance that they know that they might not, though, right? They know that. That they can't do the physical activities, the sports, dancing, And it's not just about the activity, because some of them are very aware that it's like their physical movement they miss, but they also miss like their teammates and their classmates. They're really struggling with that as well. They're struggling with the fact that they are really aware of the fact that some of them realize they're not going outside enough, right? And the reality is some of these things we realize we could do every day, like with school, without much effort, right? So we know that every day I go to school, some of these things happen naturally, right? I get to play the sports I want to play. I get to see the friends I want. I get to go and work towards the goal I'm working for, graduation or working for the play. And I get to be in my support. And now it's going to take a little bit of more effort. And a big underlining factor of all of that is they're missing the human connection. I hear adults all the time, they're always in their screens, they're never paying attention. They are actually. I think that I listened and I heard them tonight. They are in their screens quite a bit, guys, because they were born at a time where they don't remember life before them. How do you expect them to get out of a world that they've never experienced? They've never experienced life without them. So yes, they're always in their screens, but they are keenly aware that they are missing the in-person physical connection with their friends. They are. And so I found that quite enlightening tonight, because I hear adults a lot talking about them always being in their screens, even though I think adults were no different and no better than they are. And we remember a time before they were screens. We keep saying, let's go back, let's go back. Well, for them, it's never been that way. And I don't see us going back quickly or anytime soon, right? I really loved that it wasn't just about, one of them had this beautiful moment where it was about, like I'm realizing how they're getting through it. It's like they value going to the grocery store, right? Like it's kind of exciting to do some of the mundane things that maybe they took for granted. One of the things they all collectively said, which I thought was pretty cool, was, this idea of going outside, that they want to go outside more. And part of that's because they don't really have to think about going outside, I guess, so much in their day-to-day life when school is the reason they get out, right? If it's gym class or sitting outside at lunch or whatever they're doing, right? And so I think, and they're stressed about how this whole school thing's going to work. How's this balance going to work with school? What I hear is it's not much different than one of us grown-ups are going through. They're just at different levels. And the other one is, I had to hear loud and clear, is the senior that is really kind of pissed off because he worked really hard to graduate. And he doesn't know if he's going to get to walk across that stage. And I promised this person that I know that feeling. It took me back to that moment when I got kicked out of high school and had to go to an alternative school and disappeared from my high school. And I went back, and I didn't have to go and walk across the regular stage with the red cap and gown. I could have just taken my diploma at the alternative school like other kids did, but I wanted to walk across that stage. So I said this. I don't know who's listening to this video. If there is not a graduation, I am going to either host a graduation on my property, or someone is going to find me some space, because so be it. I want to see some kids in cap and gowns, because my son is one of them. And we don't even have to do it by high school. If you know me and you want to have a graduation ceremony, y'all can help me put it together and we will throw it on my property. I got 2 acres. But I want to see you graduate too. I want to see you take that tassel and move it over. And however, it may not look the way we thought it would, but if the goal is for you to be celebrated, then I told you tonight I will stand there with a sign that has lights on it, because I want to celebrate you too. I want to celebrate all of your guys' accomplishments. And, I just hope that as we are frustrated next week and this week, as we're all trying to adjust to homeschooling, I'm one of them. I just realized that I thought I could share my computer with my kids and we could alternate schedules. That can't happen. We're not going to make it work. I got to work. So as we're all stumbling through this and figuring it out, parents, I want you to give grace to your children. They're not much further down the valley than we are. And children, I want you to give grace to your parents. The reality is none of us have been through a pandemic before. None of us. And what I know for sure is if we all give each other grace and kind of ride these waves together, we're just going to figure it out. And we will all figure it out. Next week, the word is graceful. Graceful and gratitude. Be grateful for where you are and be graceful to those around you. Give them grace. Your teachers give grace. Your parents give grace. Give the kids grace. It's just this big week of grace next week. So I appreciate all of you who came to Hope Group. I hope you got something out of it. And, I forgot to teach the lesson because I was so involved. But really what it comes down to is, I'll put a link in this for you if you want to take a copy for yourself. But really what it comes down to is you've got to figure out in life what you can control. Oh, it's not going to. Sorry. It's going to come down to basically 2 lines. You can take a piece of paper. It's what you can control and what you can't control. And what I need you to do is figure out both of those sides, right? So what I can control, I put in my can control. Or I cannot control. I cannot control COVID-19. I can control doing my part by staying safe and protecting others by staying home, unless it's necessary to go out. That's my part. I cannot control that the kids are coming home from school. But what I can control is that I can reach out to get help with more Wi-Fi and a laptop, which I did today, right? Teach your kids this little trick, what you can control and what you can't control. Sorry, I don't know if I can get it to do it, but I'll put a link in it. What you can control and what you can't control. And if you can print this out or literally just write it on a piece of paper. This isn't fancy. But figure that part out for you, and then it'll allow you to focus on the things that you can control. If your life is a hula hoop, you basically only have control over everything inside of that hula hoop if you're standing in the middle. So again, be graceful to one another. I pray this serves you. Just grace to each other, y'all. Take care of you. Bye-bye.